Welcome to Sibling Scribbles. My name is Marin.
My name is Johnny.
And today we are going to be talking about moms.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's Mother's Day tomorrow.
So, tomorrow is Mother's Day. And so we wanted to talk about moms in media.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
we wanted to, but we won't. We're going to talk about dads. It's dad time.
It's dad day.
That's what's up. So, speaking as a dad, I have a lot to say about moms.
Speaking as a woman. Speaking as a woman. So today we're going to be talking about moms in media and kind of like how they affect the characters and how they've affected stories and the importance.
I'm sure
moms.
Sam, our brother, who's in between us, it'd be like me and then Sam and then Marin.
Mm-hmm.
Sam has a lot to say about mothers just because, like, as an archetype, right, in storytelling, they've existed since forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, as soon as stories could be told, mothers were telling them, right?
Right.
So the first thing that comes to mind for me,
Forbes.
the very first, it's oh wow, there's so many pop-ups.
A lot of pop-ups.
Marin looked up looked up an article about mothers and storytelling. The first article is Forbes, and then there are so many pop-up ads that you can no longer see the screen. It was like 80% of the screen was pop-ups.
We're just gonna go find another article.
I know. People come here, Marin, not because they want to read articles with us, but because we have the insider information.
Oh yes, of course.
I'm saying Wendy from Peter Pan is a really good example of a mother in storytelling.
Okay.
Because she's not one.
Yes.
And that's kind of the point of the story, right? Is that Wendy is struggling as a young girl growing up with the fact that at first she plays at being a mother, and then she realizes that there's a lot of responsibility to that. And then she comes home and appreciates her mother a lot more. The story isn't about Wendy being a good mother. It's about her realizing that her mother was good. Yeah.
But you already knew that at the beginning. She just hated her dad.
Huh. Yeah, I guess so. This one was about dads.
Yeah. Because the dad is supposed to be Captain Hook in the story.
Right. But Wendy starts the story playing playing as mother.
Right.
And then eventually she sees Tiger Lily kiss Peter Pan, and she's like, wait a minute, being an adult sounds awful. Like there's a lot more to this than I thought there was.
Yeah.
Speaking as a dad. No, just hear me out. Speaking as a dad.
I wasn't going to interrupt you.
Just listen. Marin, do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt. Just a big thumbs up. We're both so tired. I'm a little sick. This has been a rough opening.
I get to eat my egg frittata after the podcast.
Oh, you get to?
Yes.
There's a lot of keto books on the desk today.
I'm on keto, which means that I must suffer.
So when we had Roy, there was a real change in the way that we saw the world.
Yeah.
Like our perspective opened up. And I think that before Roy was born, like the day before Roy was born, I could not explain to you that difference. And today I still couldn't. It's real. It's crazy. It's really
ChatGPT. Explain fatherhood.
It's really different to have someone who relies on you and to have the responsibility of providing for them.
Yeah.
And having to spend your time like thinking about them. It's so much more than just like babysitting, right? Like I've babysat before. Like it's not that. It's I don't know. It's an act of empathy, right? To have a child and to hold them and to say, I know what you're going to go through, and I want to give you the best experience as you go through it. You know? Mm-hmm. Like Roy has never heard that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Spoilers.
Yes, big spoilers in case you didn't know. He's never had right? He's never had like a corn dog before, right? He's never drinking Kool-Aid until he passed out, right? Like everyone, that's universal experiences, right? And and he's never had those experiences. And having a child who that you're responsible for them being there and feeling that joy and excitement for them to be there. And to give them those experiences, I feel like that's not all of fatherhood, but it is a core aspect of it. And Haley has certainly been a part of that as well. Like Haley has motherhood is I feel even more intimate than fatherhood. She is
much more.
Like Roy literally relies on her and her body for sustenance. Right, Roy, like
and cuddles.
Yeah, that happened yesterday. Yesterday, Haley was holding Roy. He had fallen asleep after eating, and I realized in that moment that he was being held by his mother. And I thought to myself, like when Mom came by last week and she gave me big hugs, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the happiest, safest place in the whole universe. And Roy was having that experience right then, you know?
That's nice.
And so mothers and stories are important because it's important to get them right, because everyone has had not just a unique experience with their mother, but a deeply primal experience with their mother, right? One that kind of transcends like any physical experience, right? It's almost a spiritual one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, John. Our next caller.
Our next caller says, I haven't pooped in 3 days. Should I see a doctor?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I said yes. Stop calling in.
It's always the same guy. Gosh darn it. Okay. So we can talk about another mother. So Wendy is an example of a mom who isn't a mom and realizes how hard it is actually to be a mom, to be married to Captain Hook. Another mom who kind of pops into my mind first is Harry Potter's mom, Lily James. No, Lily Potter.
That's it.
Lily James.
Mrs. James Potter.
Lily James is the actress who is in Mamma Mia too.
Yeah, I know.
Who plays young. Her name's not Martha Stewart.
It's it's not the time for me to be asked who's who. I'm horrible at names.
Mamma Mia cast. I even looked at Meryl Streep. Not Meryl Stewart.
Meryl Streep is an absolute gem.
Yeah. So yeah, Lily James plays young Meryl Streep. Lily Potter is Harry Potter's mother. And I feel like her contribution to the story is throughout the entire series because she is what protects Harry from Voldemort.
That's it. Little trying to remember his name.
Voldemort. All I could think of is the guy from oh gosh. Naming these is so hard.
It's a rough morning here at the Sibling Scribbles podcast.
The Menu.
Oh,
He plays
yeah.
the bad guy in the menu, or the chef.
The head chef in The Menu.
Yeah, and I was like,
incredible.
oh, he did so good. Isaac hated that movie.
Of course he did.
We watched it together and he explained, and he's like, this is stupid. Even us talking about it is like leaning into the fact that it is so
Right.
stupid because they want you to talk about it, but you're not supposed to talk about it, but you will talk about it. And I was like, isn't it working? He's like, shut up. Let's watch something else. The next night we watched The Cat Returns.
I love the dichotomy. Of it's not just Isaac; it's our whole family. We're on the one hand, we want to be like critics, like real critics, and on the other hand, this happened last night. We watched Austin Land. Did you know Austin Land was made, right, directed and written by? I mean, it was originally based on a book by an author here in Utah.
Yeah,
and apparently she'd become friends with the wife of the director of Napoleon Dynamite. And the director of Napoleon Dynamite's wife was like, I want to direct Austin Land.
Oh my gosh.
And now you know that. You can't unsee it.
Unsee it.
We watched it last night and I was like, this movie fails on so many levels. Like this book had a lot to say. Like clearly the story has tons to say. And it gets so caught up in itself that you can't, like that it kind of fails in its attempt to like make a point. But it is so much fun.
Yeah.
That pointing out any of those flaws is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending very much. I thought it was too easy for a rom-com.
That's what I said too.
Yeah.
I said, like, if the whole story is about escaping the fantasy, then giving her the fantasy ending is actually kind of telling us to turn our brains off and just enjoy ourselves.
It's got this lady.
Say her name. Say her friggin' name. She talks like this.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
I love her.
Okay, did you know all of her lines were friggin' improvised?
I believe it. If she was high the whole time, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Apparently, Haley loves looking up fun facts and then reading them out loud during the movie, which is super obnoxious.
Yeah.
But she does it anyway, and it ends up being a lot of fun. But the Jennifer Coolidge's lines, like, apparently she only had a few lines that were actually scripted, and everything else was her just like walking to her and being like, hey, by the way, don't use the chamber pots. They don't actually clean those out. The toilets work here. And everyone's reactions were natural. And so Haley would like start reading like a fun fact and I'd be like, Haley, stop it. Like, you're interrupting the movie. And then she'd say that and I'd be like, I see it. I really see it. All those reactions are natural.
Funny.
Yeah. But
you brought up Boston. I don't know why.
Lily, it's because we were talking about how some stories are designed to be critiqued. Other stories are just designed to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Because Isaac, because Harry Potter. So Lily Potter.
Jane Seymour's in it. I love her.
Who?
Jane Seymour.
Oh, she's wonderful. Yeah.
She's in the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she in the Scarlet Pimpernel?
She's the girl.
The one girl.
There is actually only like one girl in the whole film.
I want to talk about that too.
We'll come around. We'll come around to it. I'll make a note.
Lily Potter is a really fantastic character because she's not in the story, and women shouldn't be in stories. Thank you so much for coming to our Women's Mother's Day podcast. You made the point, Maren. You're right. Like, her actions are like the archetypal mother's actions, right? And so even though she's not an active member of the story, I mean, she has maybe like a few lines, right, throughout the 7 books.
She's in at least like one flashback per book.
Yeah. Yeah, because the nature of who came before you really matters, right? Who they were changes, like, defines who you are in a lot of ways. And especially because she did give herself, right? You're right. Her love protects Harry. It motivates Harry. The thing that makes Harry special is that as a British child, his mother loved him, right? And British children,
very uncommon in Britain.
Super uncommon. Yeah. They only care about Man United.
Yes. Man City. Yeah, sorry, we're not a Manchester United household. Yeah. If Tom's didn't here, it was here. He'd poke at his head. He's like, no, Man City.
Man City. I have a buddy who's a Chelsea fan, and he is just like It's Alex Chung. Die hard Chelsea fan.
If you are a Chelsea fan, you are die hard.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met someone like, yeah, I think Chelsea's cool.
Right. Yeah. It's a religion over there, right?
It's Thompson will show me videos of fans in the stands, like doing like flags or like signs, and it's just like thousands of people big, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. I think it's Dortmund.
Dartmouth.
Dart. Okay. So if you see like the Dortmund fans, what
an unfortunate name.
Well, they were nearly the Dorkmen, but like, look at that. The fans made that.
It's starting to look to me like they're not actually soccer fans. It looks like they're like Hobby Lobby fans, right? They're arts and crafts fans.
Flash mob.
It looks an awful lot like they like arts and crafts, right? And that's they
look up the Dortmund, like the greatest Dortmund fans stuff, because they like light things on fire and crap. It's pretty awesome.
For a 0-1 game.
Yeah. They're only kind of a mid team too.
Okay. So yeah, Lily Potter is very important as a character, even if she is in the story very little.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice because Harry Potter is a coming of age story just as much as it is an adventure story.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's an adventure within Hogwarts, basically, but Hogwarts isn't really that big.
No.
But it's a coming of age story, so he's growing up, and he already doesn't have his parents like most stories, which we should come back to.
Absolutely.
But he's growing up, and as you grow up, like us being in college and you graduating and stuff like that, it's like our mom is in our lives, but in a way she is like Lily Potter, because we only kind of get, you know, kind of texts and calls every now and then. And
we used to live with her, right? That used to be our whole lives. Mm-hmm. I heard a statistic that by the time you turn 18, you have spent 90% of the time you will ever spend with your parents.
That's really sad, actually. That's why I'm gonna homeschool my kids.
you're gonna. It's gonna be 95% of the Bean household.
You're mine. Yeah. Okay. So Scarlet Pimpernel. What do you want to bring up about that?
Just took a note and typed in Scarlet Pimpernel.
Now I'm talking about the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Women in stories. So here, this is actually, I think this is a big conversation because mothers are like a huge part of everyone's lives. You know, they're kind of the beginning part of everyone's lives. Mothers are super important. And
they are at the beginning of life.
Right, yeah. And yet, because because literature is kind of dominated by men, there seems to be a bit of a disproportionate gender gap in character representation. Characters like Lily Potter and like mothers actually are not in stories that much at all, right? Disney movies constantly kill off moms, right? And dads, right? But like they're constantly, you know, like getting rid of like Finding Nemo, right? Doesn't have the mom character in it. And I mean, I feel like Wish purposefully killed the dad character off and kept the mom in it, right? Like there's so many stories that or like, you know, Chicken Little, right? He doesn't have the mom character in it. And you see things like Scarlet Pimpernel, and it kind of extends to that as well, right? Where men don't know how to write women, right? Men do not know how to write women. So normally they just remove them from the story because they just don't want to mess with it.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot. Snow White, Bambi, Cinderella, Peter Pan, Jungle Book, Fox and the Hound, Great Mouse Detective, Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and the list goes on. Pinocchio, Belle.
Friggin' yeah, everything. And yeah, let's be honest. The dads normally get taken out in these stories as well. Mm-hmm. But wow, there's a lot of them. This list goes on for a while.
Yeah.
So you have things like Bluey, right? And Bluey is a show that really does resonate with people because both of the parents are very present in their children's life. And
they're distinctive characters too. It's not like the mom is just like stereotypical, like what you think of with a mom. She's just like the doting mother, you know, she cooks cookies and gives them cookies after school. It's like, no, she's a real woman.
Right.
Dog woman.
Right. It's so shocking, actually, that a lot of people I feel like watch Bluey entirely because of the adults, because the adults have such real human reactions to things. Yeah, 100%. So why is it that Haley and I had a conversation about how like the mediums are switched, right? How right now there's a lot of women directing movies and things, but men are actually much more visual creatures, right? Men are very, very visually stimulated, whereas women are not so much.
They're story stimulated.
Right, by the mentality, the ideas. And you can see that in the romance novel market, right? And so we talked about how like men like really, really dominate like book writing or like a lot of books, so much so that I'd not read very many books by women by the time I'd, you know, like married Haley. And so I read Star Mother. I'm always plugging that one by Charlie Holmberg, and it's entirely about a woman becoming a mother, right? A girl growing up and becoming a mom, and the relationships that she has through that. And it was shocking to me It was really, really, I mean, in a beautiful way. It was such a beautiful story about motherhood and about women and about their place in the great cosmic scheme of things. Because it is something that I'd not been exposed to. And I think that it's something that absolutely should be a bigger part of stories.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a story that a man wrote where there was like a mom in it that was like a normal mom.
Like a normal mom? I was about to say How to Train Your Dragon. That is not normal mom.
Doesn't count.
It does not count.
She's kind of a cat lady mom.
Yeah. She has a cat lady son, right? It works
they're kind of cat people.
Let's look around. What do we got?
Pokemon?
I mean, I guess so. That is a story about your mother staying home, right? The only time you talk to your mom is when she gives you running shoes and a map.
Thanks, Ma.
Go as fast as you can that way. That is the relationship with them.
Yes. But we can relate to that too. It's like our mom sends us out on our adventures. And like when you're a kid, you're like, well, I'm going to go play nights in the backyard with sticks, right?
Yeah.
And your mom's like, okay, well, lunch is in 4 hours, so make sure to be back by then. We're having sandwiches. Oh, sandwiches!
Sandwiches, no!
Nice! I will be back, Mom!
we
It sounded like Taylor Tomlinson just then.
Go for more of a John Mulaney. Sandwiches. I will be back, Mother.
Nice, Mom.
Nice, Mother. I did talk like that. Even in Shepherd Called Bales, the core conflict takes place between Bales and her mother, who is a consuming mother archetype, right? And I feel like there's kind of a tragedy to motherhood in stories. Now that like the more that we talk about it, the more I'm like, this is like as wonderful and as beautiful as mothers are. It's kind of tragic, right? You create life and you raise that life. You nurture it, right? You are. There's a word for it. It's odium, honor, and cultivation. You cultivate this life until it's all grown up, and then it doesn't need you anymore. And actually, it can't need you anymore. At a certain point, the life
they need to depend on themselves and other people.
Right. That's a part of life. That's so sad.
So sad.
Because you're right. Like for a while, you send your kids out and they're knights and they kill dragons and they come home and they're like, killed 3 dragons, Mom. Where's that sandwich?
Right here, baby.
I'll whip it up for you. Use crust or no crust.
Oh, she always knows how I like it.
Perfect sandwich for a night like me, right?
Yeah, because a lot of people can write kids pretty well. Well, not perfectly. They usually age kids up a little bit to like a teenager mentality because they don't remember being kids and haven't had kids in a while.
That's why my favorite character in Bluey is Muffin, because Muffin is the most 3-year-old I've ever just...
Muffin's a jerk, but you know what else are jerks? 3-year-olds.
3-year-olds are jerks. Okay. They're awesome. Like we love 3-year-olds, and they don't know any different. Okay, they haven't been taught to be functioning human beings yet.
The meanest age of a child is 4 years old because it's before they've been socialized, and so they've been the center of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have siblings, it's a little bit different because they were been socialized since birth. But
a little sibling bullying is okay. Just a little bit.
It's healthy.
It is. It's super healthy.
But Mom was telling me this. She's like, yeah, 4-year-olds are the worst. And then they go to preschool and they learn, oh crap,
I'm a big fish.
There's like
a little pond and a very big.
There's like 20 other people here, and they all also are being paid attention to. And they're like, oh dang it. And they come home and they're a lot nicer.
Playgroups are important.
Yeah. Well, because you think you're the coolest, you have the best toys, and you're so awesome. And then you're like, oh, I only have
6 Pokemon toys, and
Right.
Jeremy has 17.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how numbers went that high.
I only have the red Power Ranger. I didn't even know they came in other colors.
Dad lied to me.
I want the blue one.
Really quick side tangent. Super quick side tangent. Hey, we've been watching a lot of anime recently,
Yeah.
just because it's something I can watch while Haley's making me dinner.
Yeah.
And so I went looking for anime to watch because I just needed something. And I found a show called Love After World Domination. And it's a show about Power Rangers, right? It is clearly a Power Ranger team.
Yeah.
And the Red Ranger's the leader, and he falls in love with one of the Power Ranger villains. And she's just like this teenage girl, and they have to like keep trying to sneak away during fights to go on dates and stuff. And it's not even close to as good as like Love is War or anything.
That's funny.
It's such trash, but I love it so
really
much.
funny.
I grew up because I watched Power Rangers as a kid. I watched it a
Power
lot.
Rangers is sick.
So we have an inherently tragic character, right? Mothers are inherently tragic.
But they are like full of grace and dignity, and they want their kids to move on. They're like, yes, I want you, to always, call back and, make sure you're, mom always says, she's like, make sure you're taking your vitamin gummies and you're getting sunshine.
She does
and
say that.
You've talked to one person today.
Oh my gosh, that's totally her.
Like if you call and you're like, I'm sad. She's like, well, did you take your gummies and did you touch grass and did you go exercise? And you're like, no. She's like, all right, call me back. Conservative moms, am I right?
Oh man. But when everything's going right, when everything's going really well, when she came by for last week and everything was going well and she could just sit down and talk, she showed up. My mom has gone there's a very large divide between mother characters and grandmother characters.
Oh, very different.
Huge difference. And I have discovered that difference in my life. I got married to Haley, right? I went to college. I went to my mission. I married Haley, and my mom kind of took a step back, and she's like, "Okay, John's being his own man. He's married a wonderful woman. Like we will develop a new kind of relationship, a new mature adult relationship." And then Roy was born. And she did show up, and I kid you not, with over a dozen new toys for Roy, bath toys and like stroller toys, and like
Yeah, she just like recently this last time too, she brought more toys as well.
yeah, just so many toys. She was just like, "Oh, it's so good to see you," and she just reach into it and pull out like a full like rubber frog and be like, "This was for Roy," and I'm like, "He's not here. Like we're at a restaurant." Like, and like just. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see that, right? Because she is an expert. She's an expert on what it means to be a mother, and so it was.
Mom's good.
She's good.
She's good.
She is two of us. This is pretty good.
Whenever she comes into town, she's so nice. She always brings me and Thompson quarters for our laundry.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And she's like, don't look. And then she like reaches into our cupboard where our like secret quarter cup is hidden. And she's like, don't look. And she like fills up all the quarters. I'm like, thanks, Mom. She'll go to Trader Joe's and she's like, what's that local farmer marketplace that you go to? And I'm like, Trader Joe's? And she's like, yeah, that's the one. And she always fills our freezer full of steaks.
Oh, it's so nice.
She knows how much I love steak.
But it is just that. I greatly appreciate it. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing to see her like with her own like skills and talents as well, right? Like she I feel like the less kids she had in the house, the more she started to develop talents and hobbies like harp, right?
She plays harp. She speaks French.
Yeah.
She like volunteer teaches.
Yeah, she's substitute teacher at an international school.
Yeah, I'm like,
and she's not, and she's a for real teacher, right? Like her arts and crafts are top notch. She's teaching kids concepts like in every form. She's like up to date on the best kind of teaching. Like she's truly passionate about it.
Mom has like, Mama is Mary Poppins. You know, I think that's a good story to maybe bring up.
Oh.
Because Mary Poppins is the mother to those children that they don't have. Like,
right. Because their mom is a feminist.
Yes. Just to rephrase, their family, their dad is super busy. They really have dad problems more than they have mom problems.
Right.
But their mom is out of the house working as well. And
right. She's also joined like this workforce just in a different way.
Right. And their dad is gone and doesn't think of them as valuable parts of his life. And so Mary Poppins shows up and she is a mom where she is kind and playful and they have a good time. But she's also like, all right, go to sleep.
Right. She's firm. She's very firm.
Right. And I feel like that's a good mom too. Like maybe, I don't know who wrote that story, but
oh man, we need to know our classics better.
We'd be getting tisked by all of the Evans right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're all so classic.
You're gonna have to type in book. Bringing up Mary Poppins is kind of like perfect because I think that is one of Mom's favorite books ever.
Pamela, it's a woman.
Pamela, yep, that's it.
Dang it. So maybe that's a good thing though, because it's like women are the ones writing the stories about moms. They're like, hey, don't forget the moms. You know, like let's remember how important they are in people's lives. Even in the Barbie movie. I just finished it. I've seen it twice, but like
wait, sorry, like the recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the first time I watched it, I only got to the Ken song.
Yes.
Because I was on a plane. And so the flight ended and didn't get to finish it. But I just finished it on the cruise ship. So neither time I paid to watch it.
Nice.
Nice. But I mean, at the end, she's like, you know, and just have like a normal Barbie who, you know, wants to be a mom. And, you know, like, it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, like, it's important to her that she wants to be a mom. I was like, whoa.
There's a lot about that movie that I think that I think does a disservice to mothers and to women. Yeah. But that line was not one of them. I thought that it was kind of ridiculous that there's a pregnant Barbie that everybody like shuns and is embarrassed about.
I'm like, no, not Midge.
No, that's Mitch is cool.
I love Midge.
Midge is the best.
In Life in the Dream House, Barbie Life in the Dream House. Midge is so ratchet, and I love her. Don't just shun her for being a mom.
But like I think the movie was. I have so many thoughts about the Barbie movie, but my biggest issue was that it was trying to say a lot of things that actually kind of contradicted one another. But at the end of the day, like there were a lot of positive messages about like, you know, maybe just it's okay to be a mom, maybe it's okay to be a woman, maybe it's okay to be a daughter.
Yeah, well, Barbie dolls are all about moms and daughters. Like Barbie dolls are about kids.
Yeah.
Like it's not, they were like, it's about the women in the industry and all these things. I'm like, no. Barbies are for kids to play with.
Right. Look, you give a kid or you give a boy a G.I. Joe, right? You give a boy a G.I. Joe because they are this, they're the valiant warrior archetype, right? That's the whole point. The whole point is that they are a valiant warrior that your son can look up to. Your son will never have that body. And the boys don't even care. The boys are like, ha, yeah.
Nice rifle.
Nice. Is that just how bodies look? Nice. I accept that at face value. Right?
And then all of the women are getting like, oh, the Barbie.
Like Barbies are unrealistic body standards.
Like,
and
it's a toy.
It's a toy. It's like, and I don't, do girls actually get upset when their bodies don't look like a Barbie doll?
It's much less I feel like it's much less the Barbie doll and much more the fashion and food industry and different things like that.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants women to always look eternally young, just in movies and different things. I mean, like Margot Robbie, the girl who plays Barbie, she has like 5 different plastic surgeries.
Yeah.
She does not look naturally like that.
No.
I'm like, that is part of the thing I think is actually toxic. for women to be like, you need to always look young, no matter what.
No,
it's
look,
like, no, you don't. You need to age with dignity and to let kids just be kids and to have baby fat, and then they
enjoy each phase of your life.
Yeah, and then to be teenagers and to be awkward and have acne and not know where your body is, and then
it's part of the game.
Get into college and older, and like your body still, like, guys' puberty ends at 25 and girls ends at about 19ish.
Yeah, holy crap! I'm 26. I hit some kind of wall, and I was like, "That's it. That was it. That was the prime. It's over now."
But like, girls,
that donut is staying there.
But even at like 19, it's like my body is always changing. Like my body is never the same the previous year. And like I have new problems, new features that I'm finding out about. And it's like people aren't leaning into the fact that women don't work in the real world the same way that men do on a schedule.
Right. Men's bodies are designed to be able to function for as long as possible and then to fall apart, just completely, just at every single point, just to break. Right. That's the whole point.
But women kind of go through, like, they go through spring, summer, fall, and winter. Like they go through all of that each month.
Right.
Like, that's insane.
Isn't it? Okay. I kind of love this conversation because we start at mothers, but the truth is, because mothers are the beginning of life, we end up actually just straight up slapping life onto mothers as well. Like all of life is a part of the mother archetype, right? It is a divine, almost godlike kind of like domain for them,
right?
At least in storytelling, right? It's unsurprising that currently in modern media, there's a lot of people who are saying God is a woman, right? Making there's a lot of that going on.
I feel like the world would be a lot different, a lot more different. God has a wife, but not a woman.
That is. I don't care if it's heresy. I believe it. Take your Catholicism. No, okay.
Shove it down.
We're gonna cut that.
Yeah.
We in our beliefs, right, in our religion, we do believe that there is a heavenly mother. We do not speak of her out of respect for her, out of deep respect for her. Yeah. But we do not deny that she is an integral aspect of everything. I've thought a lot about it. I had this idea. I'm going to pitch this to you afterwards because I don't want anyone to steal this. This is a real idea, a business idea. Nice. But it has to do with streaming. It has to do with live streaming. And I've thought to myself, if I do live streaming, I am just going to have a rule where no one gets to talk about my wife. No one gets to talk about her. No one gets to, like, you don't get to compliment her. Like, you guys are effing weird on here. Like, no one gets to insult her. No one compliments her. No one gets to come up with nasty names that you refer to her by. Like, ban, instant permaban. Nobody, like, that's it. And that was my rule. And then I realized, yeah, that's probably how God feels about his about Heavenly Mother.
Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth.
Yeah. Like, actually.
Yeah,
like, that is how we understand it.
Yeah.
And we don't, it's not a secret. It is deeply sacred, but we just don't know much more about her because we're frankly not very respectful towards God, right? I would hate to incur the wrath of a God because I was disrespectful about his wife, right? It's probably just for the best. I really do think it's for the best. I'm sure she's still just as active in our lives.
Yeah. And I guess we will see that.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, someday. I'm excited for it.
But it is interesting that you bring up that motherhood equal life. Like when we talk about Mother Nature or Mother Earth, it's always with the implication that they are creating.
Yes.
And we get to interact with their creations, animals, plants, the weather, or whatever. So it's interesting to see that in characters too.
I have a comment about that, but you're going to need to stand up and show off the shirt first.
I made this shirt, guys.
Maren made this shirt for the listening audience. This shirt says, Brandon Sanderson doesn't exist. It looks so good. It looks so good. I'm reading Stormlight Archive right now. And in this world, there are two gods. One is honor and one is cultivation. Mm-hmm. And cultivation is a woman. Surprise! And honor is...
yeah, like the goddess of the yeah, I can't even say god of the hearth.
Right? No, it's goddess of the hearth.
Goddess of the hearth.
These ideas, like these feminine and masculine roles, are like assigned so like they're such primal roles that it's natural for us to assign those things to them, even though. I don't see why we can't have if you have like a nature deity who's a man, it's Pan, right? Like it's about revelry and about natural instincts. And
yeah, but no one ever thought of Pan as the natural world. Right. They're like, he probably is like out there in the woods smoking pot,
he's
doing
a hoe.
shrooms.
Yeah. That dude's a hoe.
like sorry. He's not this great hunter,
Right. See, there we go again. Like men in nature are hunters and men in nature are conquerors and women in nature are
creation.
Yes, just cultivators.
Right.
And it's interesting you say that honor has some kind of connection with the storms. Mm-hmm. Right. And so it's very interesting that you said like women actually, are sometimes like with the weather and stuff.
Right.
You have a character like Storm in the X-Men. Right. And she's one of the like clearly most powerful characters. And she's a very popular character. And she is given control over the weather because women are closely related to these ideas. Mm-hmm. It kind of brings us to the inverse of that, right? The inverse of that is the wicked stepmother, right? The wicked stepmother is this usurper, right? It's this person who has arrived and they didn't give you life. They've only created evil.
And they just want to take.
They just want to take and destroy. Yes, they're jealous.
Yeah.
They didn't create.
But even like Cinderella's wicked stepmother, she has 2 daughters, but she's still like, that's not enough for her to be happy that she has these 2 daughters and she married this nice man and has a 3rd daughter now. Right.
She needs more. She needs more and more and more. And so
she just wants complete control.
Right. And
wait, which is different from what a good mom has.
Do tell, Marin.
Because a good mom knows that she cannot control her children. A bad mom will try and force that control because she's an adult and she has that power, actually. Mm-hmm. I just read Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Holy crap.
It's a really good book. And it's free on Spotify. You should listen to it if you want to listen to abuse. But
good heavens.
But her mom was very abusive and she didn't teach Jeanette all of the things that she needed in her life to succeed as a human being. Mm-hmm. She gave her the things to succeed as an actress, like eating disorders and negative thoughts and, eventually the addictions that she had. But it's like she forced that control.
Right.
But a good mom is like kids, not the phrase like boys will be boys. It's not like that, but like kids are children. Like
they're children.
They're children.
Boys won't be men.
Yeah. No, like kids need, like their job is to play. And a good mom knows that their first thought is that, oh, I got to play today. Right.
Because to kids, to children, the play is their work, right? Yeah. Children are actually exploring the world around them through their stories. It's why storytelling is so closely related to children.
Right.
Is because it comes so naturally for a child to say, today we're playing house. I'm a dad, you're a mom. Let's go. And they actually explore those ideas of what does it mean to be a dad and a mom through that play. Mm-hmm. And they do that fighting dragons, and they do that hiding in the wilderness,
right,
of their backyard.
Like they're just behind like a blueberry bush.
Right. They're sitting behind a blueberry bush, like lying on their back, just lying on the dirt, going like, could I do this for hours? No. Back to sandwich.
they're like, I could live here. And like 20 minutes later, they're like, Mom.
I really couldn't live here. And that's, once again, like we're kind of we're kind of saying, like, we're defining like what a mother is by their relationship to the world around them.
Yeah.
Right. The way that they, I mean, I guess that's how you define anything, but it is something like a mother is something that like it is elevating, right? It is truly elevating by allowing people to do, like, have their own agency, by allowing them to make their own choices, by allowing them to grow.
Right. And of course, being like, that's probably not a good idea. And they will like lead you in the direction. Of course, moms are like, don't do that. Do not hit your siblings. Do not say curse words.
Yeah.
You know, eat your food so you are healthy. You know, don't just eat junk food. Like, those are all really important things.
Eat your gummies, go outside, talk to one person.
Right. And when you're a kid, you know, your mom needs to be like your best friend and also like the bad guy sometimes.
Yeah. That's the job of a mother.
But she's not controlling you. She's not like opening your mouth and being like, make sure to chew your food.
No, yeah.
Like, she's there to teach you how to do stuff.
There's a really Haley follows insane mom groups on insane mom groups, right? So moms that are nuts, right? It's just subreddits and Facebook groups that post crazy mother activity. Yeah. And some of them are crazy. The one that we always joke about is there was this mom, and she was upset that her son got married, and that she has her son got married. They didn't have a kid yet, and her son, his wife didn't want the mom dropping by as often. So they changed the locks on their doors because the mother had a key to their house and wanted to drop by whenever she wanted. And the line that she used was, "It just doesn't seem fair. I raised the perfect man, and now I don't even get to see him when I want to." And I was like, hold on. Wait a minute. That is...
Dun, 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 dun.
I always have to check just one sentence.
Yeah,
but it is this controlling mother feeling of like, I created the perfect man. And I like it, almost this, like, I deserve time with them, right? Like that's controlling. It's controlling. It's ownership. It's
to say like, oh, I still want to spend time with my kids. Like when our mom comes into town, she's like, I just want everyone to be together. It's not her being like, everyone has to show up to Maggleby's and we will eat the same food every time. It's like, no, she's like, okay, just whatever, let me know.
Yeah. She and we're going on vacation. I'm going on vacation with her next month. It's mom and dad and Caleb, and then Haley, myself, and Roy. So the married couple and their youngest kid. We're all going to Spain, and it's been really interesting to talk with them now that we're adults and now that we have kids of our own, or a kid of our own, and them be like, you know, like it's whatever works for you, like really whatever works for you. And I keep thinking like, this is weird. Like, mom and dad should be like telling me what the big things are that we should be going to do.
Yeah. And
instead they're like, no, just like what's good for you? What's good for you on this trip is what's good for us. Like, Roy takes a priority.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, thanks guys.
I'm also doing a trip with them. Our parents, okay, just a side note, because this is a little bit weird.
Yes.
Our parents live overseas, and they have like ticket credits and stuff. And so they're like, hey, we've gone to 40 countries in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you guys want to go somewhere, we'll meet you there.
Yeah. So we pay our way there, and then we go there and we hang out with them. Right.
And so it's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So now that like some things have freed up, and, you know, I have a job where, you know, I can take time off and different things like that. You know, we all plan trips. We're like, well, I want to go here. And then mom and dad are like, sure, we'll meet you there.
And it's great. Look, it's wonderful that they still give us, like, I'm really, really glad they don't pay, right? I'm really, really glad they don't pay for the tickets for us to get there, right? Because that is so it's liberating. They want to pay for every single meal once we get there. Okay, like they're still very generous, and they still like, oh, shower gifts on you. It's like, okay, thank you, very nice. But even then, I'm not super happy about that because the relationship that we have established is that like you guys are your own people, right? Like we absolutely want to spend time with you and we want to do cool things with you. But it's that cultivation where it's like we will prune. We will prune parts of you. We will help you prune, I guess, the parts of you that are not good, that you don't like, and we will help you like achieve the goals that you do want to achieve. It's good parenting.
Yeah, but like I've been planning this trip with Dad, and I've been doing all the correspondence for it because it's like planning a tour. So you have to like it's super customized, and we're trying to figure out what cars to use and what hotels, like the specific resorts and different locations. And it's like I'm the one doing all the correspondence, which is crazy to me because like just a few years ago wouldn't have been me at all.
Yeah,
like I could barely make phone calls.
Yeah.
But like since living on my own, I'm like, I've got to function. If I want things to happen, I have to do them. Yeah. And so that's been kind of cool for Dad and Mom to be like, yeah, just let us know.
We'll keep us in the loop. I don't want to say that they're hands off either, right? A good parental character. We've talked about this a few times in some of our stories. We don't really love the parents are dead story thing. In Bales, that is the case, but because it's a specific story that I am telling about mothers and daughters, right? There's a purpose to that story. But in most of our stories, we don't love that like storytelling like archetype because we do like a healthy family, right? You can still struggle and have a lot of problems in a very healthy family.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just it's
absolutely not
oh
like,
for sure let's go through it.
No, not like that. But I mean, like I know tons of families and everyone has problems because everyone lives in the real world.
Yeah. And so we're not going to air. Of course, we're only going to talk about the good stuff. We're not going to air dirty laundry about our family.
No.
But it is all the same. Like. Good parenting and good childing is about that dance. It's about respecting the gifts and the cultivation that you've been given and learning things like honor and cultivation.
Right. So a good mom in a story, if I feel like to have a good mom in a story is actually kind of important, and that like a kid can still struggle and stuff. But a lot of times people don't include mothers in stories because that gives characters a way to fall back on someone. And what authors want to happen is the character either falls back on friends that are also developing in the story, or they just have to like gird up their loins and just move forward.
I realized I can't believe I'm only thinking of this with 5 minutes left. Mary.
Yeah.
The mother of Jesus. She's not dead.
Yeah.
In fact, she's there like throughout his story. She's in and out of the story. Yeah. She's very clearly still a part of his life.
I mean, she's even there at his death.
Yeah.
Which is...
My goodness.
And she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
For his whole life.
My goodness. That is a story.
Yeah.
And it's... we could talk about how Mary is almost the perfect mother archetype, right? Like it's shocking how well she fits that, right? Where she is someone who comes back to the temple and says like, what have you been like? What are you doing? We were worried about you. And he was like, don't you know it's about my Father's business, right?
And she keeps all of these things in her heart.
Right. And he says he was raised in he grew in stature and in the oh shoot, it's too early to be quoting scripture. He grew in stature and like it wasn't like reputation, wisdom and stature. He grew in wisdom and stature.
Wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So it's like
this is
mind.
We're not going to make statements about whether or not Christ was needed to be parented. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not going to make statements about that. I just don't know. What I do know is that it kind of sounds like, especially with God and man, and favor and wisdom, these are things that you're kind of taught, and you're kind of that are you don't grow in favor with man at 7 years old on your own. Okay.
But like Jesus he was born as a baby, which means that he still needed to be, nurtured as a baby to grow into a human, like a grown man, to do all the things that he needed to do.
Right.
So it's like Mary had to be that mom.
Right. Absolutely. And she visits him during his
ministry.
And she is there at his death.
Yeah.
And
she plays a really big role.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really cool, actually.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. She was a choice woman, right? She was favored among women. Yeah. And that is I mean, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful to have those kind of, not characters. She wasn't a character.
We're all kind of characters.
Right, I guess so. Yeah, we're the characters. We're quite characters. But to have someone of such character,
right,
to look up to and to have as an example.
So in that case, there is a good mom written by a man.
I'm Johnny Jensen.
There's so many other wonderful moms.
We're Sibling Scribbles.
There are so many wonderful moms in literature and in shows. We only kind of scratched the surface on all of this, but I hope that the message got across that, like, the respect and the love that we have for our own mom and for moms in stories and in, other women figures is so important. And I think we could all do for a little bit more moms in media.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Screw women in media. I'm for moms in media.
Yeah. I think we've talked about women in media in the past. We've talked about it before. I think that it is a crucial, like they're women, they're part of the world, right? You can't just remove them from stories.
Yeah.
But I want better stories told, better women written, right? I want more women writers.
Yeah.
They're good. So
Haley suggests this book.
Haley suggested this. This is written by a woman about women main character, Queen of Blood by Sarah Beth Durst. Haley read this in 3 hours, 600 pages, read it in 3 hours, and then told me the entire story because she got so excited about it. It is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
I'm reading it after I finished the Three Dark Crowns series, which is also written by a woman. It is very women heavy, and Haley's going to read it and tell you about it, and then I want to talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think it's actually a disservice because of how much women there is in this story.
Interesting. I, of course, my book recommendation is Star Mother.
Nice.
Star Mother is about the divinity in all women.
Right.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Do not sleep on Charlie Holmberg. So good.
Nice. Happy Mother's Day. I am Marin. And
I'm Johnny. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this now. You can find our webcomic on shepherdcalledbales.com. We're going to be jumping more into that soon.
Much more because it is summer and I don't have homework.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. We love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day and stay creative.